Hello traders, this is Jim Comiskey coming to you live from Archer Daniels Midland Investment Services. It is currently Friday the 23rd at about 2 o'clock. Can I give you some color on the metals complex amongst other things? The opinions that I am no doubt about to express are mine alone and are not necessarily shared by ADMIS, Archer Daniels Midland Investment Services, even though they probably should be. Anyways. The gold is currently at $1665.60. That's up $23. Just made a new high of $1666.30. The low is $1641.5. Silver is currently at $32.22, up 87 cents. $32.30 the high. Just made that high. $31.43 the low. Kind of unusual for this time on a Friday to have the metals make new highs. Perhaps the market's telling us that it's a bit nervous about perhaps geopolitical events over the weekend, maybe Iran, Israel, who knows. But you got to figure you got a lot of dealers, a lot of traders putting on insurance hedges, okay, in my humble opinion. Anyways, support and resistance, okay, gold, pivot today, it comes in all the way down at the low, okay, of 1643. First resistance, which is now support, 1658. Above that, 1672 should be strong resistance. Okay, support comes in and down at 1629.30, and below that 1614. Silver, the pivot with first support now is 31.59. Second support comes in at 30.84. Below that 30.33. All right, resistance 32.10. Above that 32. Well, it's now support 32.85 and 33.15. All right, a lot of things to talk about, and since I'm doing my own camera work now, I figured out that if I do it over 15 minutes, the YouTube kind of reject. It's very hard to get this loaded. That's why I got to limit it a little bit. Okay, perhaps someday I'll start doing a 2-a-day thing. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Okay. First of all, February new home sales earlier this morning, and it has missed now 12 out of 14 months. All right. New home sales, we were looking for up 1.3%. And now bear in mind, this is like, the walk-in period now. With weather as idyllic as it's been nationwide, really, you would think this number would come in pretty big. We were looking for up 1.3. It came in down 1.6 month on month. All right. And there was a massive absolutely massive revision to the last month, January. Now, who knows? It basically is these numbers. Is this not more evidence that numbers are getting cooked here? January's headline was originally reported at negative 0.9%, 0.9. Okay, it was revised to negative 5.4 month on month. That is the largest drop in 13 months in this index. All right, now we're not going to come out of this whole housing created bubble, if you will. Oh, there's plenty of fingers to point, but until the real estate market stabilizes. All right, and basically nothing's been fixed throughout all this. At a congressional level, or at a Federal Reserve level, or at a Treasury level, a lot of it's been papered over. And this is going to happen again, and it won't be long. All right, this is from a gentleman, Charles Hugh Smith from Of Two Minds. He posted this on Zero Hedge a couple days ago. I'm just going to read this to you briefly, okay? It's a good little analysis. All right, according to Charles here, if you were the head of central planning, he means the Federal Reserve, and were tasked with crippling the real estate market, what 5 steps would you recommend? Okay. Step 1, choke the market and the banking sector with zombie banks. Okay. This is a little tongue-in-cheek, but I'm just going to read this. Central planning creates zombie banks in one easy step. It allows insolvent banks to mark their impaired real estate owned to fantasy rather than market prices. This enables the banks to survive in a deathless state, propped up by free money from the Federal Reserve and lax regulations that enable fantasy accounting and all sorts of off-balance sheet trickery. Perfect. Step 2, have the central bank buy up to $1 trillion in toxic impaired mortgages. If these mortgages were such a great deal to begin with, why didn't private buyers snap them up? Exactly. They were garbage. No buyer would touch. So we really didn't even know what this paper's worth because it's not mark to market. In other words, we don't know what these banks are worth. Step 3, lower the rates that banks can borrow from the Fed to 0, and then pay the banks interest on all funds deposited at the Fed. It's funny because they're doing all this stuff. All right, so banks basically, they're borrowing billions from the Fed at 0 interest. They deposit that $1 billion with the Fed, and they just skim the interest tax-free, or they skim the interest risk-free. Nice gig if you can get it. Maybe that's why Goldman became a bank during the height of the debacle. Just a guess. Step 4, try to prop up the housing market by giving poor credit risk buyers loans with only 3% down. This generates a new pool of ready buyers, but since the government's guaranteeing the loan, qualifying is easy, and buyers only have a few thousand of skin in the game, which means defaulting is not very painful. Step 5, and this is the one that's near and dear to my heart with 3 boys in college right now. Step 5, load young people up with the equivalent of a mortgage and student loans. I read somewhere on the web yesterday that student loans have surpassed the $1 trillion mark for the first time. Oh, okay, here, I'm just going to read again here. That ensures that the majority of potential new home buyers won't be qualified to buy a house for a long time because they're already indentured to the banks for student loans. Those fortunate few who get good paying jobs will qualify for a mortgage when they're getting gray hair. All right, I just thought I'd share that with you. How much time I got, T? All right, say I'm told I got 5 minutes, okay? So, oil. Why is oil so expensive? Where do you start? Okay, first of all, there is plenty of supply. All right. Secondly, demand has pretty much fallen off a cliff. Okay, because of the economy. Okay, plus, where I live, Northwest Burbs, gas is at $4.79. It's jumping a dime a day, a dime a night. It's incredible. It's end of March. Anyways, okay, so you've got ample supply, demand is lower. Okay, we've always had Middle Eastern tension. Okay, so I see these fools out of DC saying, "Oh, that accounts for $20 or $30 worth of increase in crude oil." You know what? That and a bus pass gets you on the bus. Okay, the Strait of Hormuz obviously is a very, very, very strategic choke point in the whole delivery process, mostly for Europe. Having said that, my money's on the U.S. Navy. Absolutely. But you know that the Iranis could definitely stir up the waters, no pun intended. All right. Now, what I would offer to you here is that, the fact that crude oil is already pricing in my humble opinion, inflation. Massive inflation down the road. Crude is priced in greenbacks. Okay. Now, so in other words, the Federal Reserve since '08, rightly or wrongly, okay, has been creating dollars out of thin air. All right. All those extra dollars in the system, okay, are the direct reason why you've got gold at almost where all-time highs. Silver, well, close to it, percentage-wise, all-time highs. Grains have doubled in 3 years. And okay, so now a lot of you are going to say, well, what about the dollar index? Why is the dollar index still hanging at 79 cents and it hasn't moved in how many months? Okay, here, I'm going to go there. All right, now what I did was, here, I don't want to get sidetracked. How much time? 2 minutes? Come on. You're good. Can I do 2? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to, cut me off in 14 minutes. Let me know. Okay, got this off the GAO's website. Okay, Federal Reserve System, opportunities exist to strengthen policies and processes for managing emergency assistance. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it's July of 11. All right, now, this was a report, and here's your money supply, and it's like off-balance sheet. Okay. Let me just read this to you, and it's like a 300-page report. It's on the GOA's website. It's still archived on there. All right, why this study was even done. It's basically an audit of the Fed. Okay. The Dodd-Frank Wall Street Reform and Consumer Protection Act directed GAO to conduct a one-time audit of the emergency loan programs and other assistance authorized by the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System during the recent financial crisis. This report examines the emergency actions taken by the Fed from Dec. 107 through July 21st, 2010. Okay, so now these numbers are real. All right, on page 131 of the report. Right. All right, kill it. Okay, here, you know what? Guys, if in case you don't, I'm going to do another one right now. But in case you don't get a chance to watch the other one, you want to work with me, give me a call, whatever. My toll-free is 888-935-7979. Outside line, 312-242-7996. You'd like to leave a comment on the YouTube, fine, I will reply. Or email me, jim.comiskey@archerfinancials.com. Talk to you again in a minute.